Hi there, people. It's Pyxcore, and I've always thought that there's too much positivity in the world. Too much positivity. One of these pictures is a Nintendo Virtual Boy, the other is a trash can. Spot the difference.
Trash can has worth.
Nintendo were innovators in gaming for the longest time. What happens when you innovate a bit too much? Seizures. While Nintendo has been largely successful when it comes to their console business, there have been a few bumps in the road. Now, some of these were small speed bumps. Others were just straight up humans lying in the street. I have a talk show to appear on it about now. But luckily, it's taking place in my living room. The host decided to travel to my house for some reason, so I can talk about more of these Nintendo consoles. Now, I won't be talking about handhelds, for the most part, because those have always been Nintendo's most successful ventures, so we'll be sticking to home consoles. Except for the first console we're talking about, the Virtual Boy. This technically was supposed to be a handheld system, but you weren't taking this thing anywhere. It's too bulky. The graphics on the console's games just aren't good. They're red and black fake 3D, which Nintendo warned people could cause nausea, headaches, and seizures. I think it's clear why this console wasn't successful. The next console we're talking about, which also happens to be Nintendo's next console, is a lot better. The Nintendo 64 released on September 26, 1996. This console released during the era where 3D gaming was taking off, and wouldn't you know it, the Nintendo 64 could play 3D games. Then what was wrong with this console? Well, the Sony PlayStation and Sega Saturn both used CDs to play their games, while the N64 was stuck on cartridges. CDs could create better sound and visuals than cartridges and could hold more memory. Not only this, but they were cheaper to produce than cartridges, so Nintendo basically said, I hate convenience, I'm gonna shoot my console in the foot and expect it to run a marathon. The N64 also released a year after all the other systems. Both the PlayStation and Sega Saturn were released in 1995 here in North America, while the Nintendo 64 was released in '96. Then we have the GameCube. This console holds a special place in many people's hearts, or at least that's what the voices in my head tell me. This console, like all the others I've talked about in this episode, was a failure. The reasons for this console's failure were quite a lot simpler though. One is that Nintendo finally switched over to discs for this console. Now you may be saying, but isn't that a good thing? It would be, but Nintendo doesn't get why they fail sometimes. While these discs were more powerful than cartridges, they could still hold barely any memory compared to the PS2 and Xbox because those used DVDs while the GameCube was stuck on these tiny little optical discs which are basically mini DVDs. Clearly the bullet didn't help it run faster, so I'll just stab it in the leg! Not only this, but the GameCube didn't launch for the Mario game, it launched for the Luigi game, with a Mario game not even coming out until 2 years after the system was released. And the console came out in 2001, a year after the PS2, a sequel to the winner of the last generation of consoles. After the GameCube, Nintendo decided to take a bit of a break from being a disappointment with the release of the Wii. But they came right back to it with the release of the Wii U in 2012, which is my favorite historical tragedy. Look, the Great Depression's great, but have you seen the Wii U? Nintendo was actually early to the party with this system, releasing it in 2012, where the Xbox One and PS4 were released in 2013. But this system was called the Wii U. What is a Wii U? I don't know. No one knows. I don't think Nintendo knows. Okay, so the Wii U released November 18th, 2012. It was a successor to Nintendo's ever-popular Wii, but Nintendo didn't really advertise it like that. When they announced it, they only showed the gamepad, and when they did show the system, it was in the corner, but it must have been showing a newer-looking game, right? Ha! Funny joke! The game shown is New Super Mario Bros. U, which looks almost exactly like Super Mario Bros. Wii, so it just looked like a controller for the Wii. Oh, and remember when I said that you could see the Wii U in the corner? Well, guess what? The Wii U just looks like a Wii RVL 101. Oh, and not only this, Nintendo forgot to advertise it for a few months. And when they did, the advertisements were garbage. So this system failed due to bad marketing. Well, I'd better head downstairs for my talk show appearance.
Hi there, talk show enjoyers. I'm Markiplier. No, not Markiplier. And welcome back to The Questioning. Now, I know that sounds like a 2013 documentary that got 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb. That's because it is. Anyways, today's guest is Pyxcore. Wow, his parents were jerks. Who names their kid something that sounds like something else? Anyways, welcome to the show, Pixel.
Please, call me Pyx, or Pyxcore. Honestly, I don't really care. Anyway, why am I here?
Hey, I'm asking questions here. Anyways, it's to my understanding that you despise Nintendo. Why is that?
What? I don't hate Nintendo. Also, why is there a dead body on my floor?
Oh, that's just B. He was like that when I found him.
Did you bring him here?
Never leave the house without him. Anyways, if you don't hate Nintendo, then why were you saying bad things about the Virtual Boy and talking about all the failures in the Virtual Boy?
Because I'm told I'm too positive, so I need to talk about all their failures, and come to think of it, it really does seem like I hate them. I guess I should do something to make it up.
So why don't you talk about what all those failures in the Virtual Boy did right?
Why didn't I think of that?
Final question. Would you still love me if I was a Nintendo Virtual Boy?
I just met you. Well, this isn't good. Apparently everyone thinks that I hate Nintendo. I mean, according to IGFN, or It's the Freaking News, Pyxcore absolutely despises Nintendo. I mean, I'm actually going to call Nintendo's CEO and let him know that he hates Nintendo. That's slander! Well, I guess I have to talk about what all these consoles did right, so that way this Japanese multi-billion-dollar company doesn't think that I hate them. First up is the Virtual Boy, and this console is not good.
So that's a no.
There is, however, one thing that I can think of that this console did right. It had the first ever Mario sports game. Mario's Tennis. That's the title. This tennis belongs to Mario. Anyway, that's all I can think of. The N64, however, has way more positives. First, this was the first 3D Nintendo console. And while the graphics and audio were nothing to write home about, many of the system's 338 games are really good, with some, such as Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Super Mario 64, being genre-defining. And yes, this console had 3D games. Were there 3D games before this? Yes. Were they any good? Take a wild guess. And on to the GameCube. This system actually had pretty good graphics and audio quality due to it using CDs. I mean, look, the stab in the leg isn't good, but it's a whole heck of a lot better than that bullet to the foot. Look, was the system perfect? No. But it got pretty close. It did so much right. While it didn't launch with a Mario game, it launched with Luigi's Mansion, which innovated in video game physics, namely, dust physics. And this system introduced two Nintendo staples, Pikmin and Animal Crossing, technically. I say this because Animal Crossing was released on the Nintendo 64 originally, but only in Japan. It got its everywhere else release on the GameCube. And the controller did so much right. I mean, the button layout was gorgeous, and this was the first and last Nintendo controller with analog triggers. And the system was portable technically. And finally, the Wii U. Oh, the Wii U. I don't know if I love or loathe this system. Look, its marketing sucked. Wii U is the worst possible name for it. Literally any other name would have been better for that system. I'm sure it would have stuck out more than Wii U. Hey man, what console are you playing? Oh, the Nintendo any other name? But this console does have some positives. Look, this system was actually pretty okay. It was Nintendo's first HD console, and it had some good games. Super Mario 3D World, Smash for Wii U, Nintendo Land, Splatoon, Mario Maker, that's all I can think of. And yeah, the gamepad is stupid, but it could have been a Wiimote. Speaking of which, Wiimotes and Wii games worked with this console. I mean, sure, a lot of people wanted to see this thing dead and gone, but it's cool that the Wii U is backwards compatible. There, now Nintendo should know that I don't hate them. I swear, they care. It looks like me being tall.
You're not negative enough. Oh wait, B, you're alive?
Always have been.
I've had it with this negativity. Just let me play SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated in peace. I came down here to ask you how you got my number.
You left on the counter.
Not again.
Look, I gave you like stupid Nintendo games, and I respect your opinion. Even if you wouldn't love me if I was a Nintendo Virtual Boy. Cheese it?
I don't love you anyway, and you stole my Cheez-Its. Well, that was the weirdest conversation I've had with someone who was eating stolen Cheez-Its, and trust me, I've had a lot of conversations with people who are eating stolen Cheez-Its. And I'm getting the strange urge to play some Mario's Tennis. Oh hey, I got a cease and desist. It says, you can't play that, that's my tennis. Well, surely I'm allowed to play Mario's Picross, so you've got to be joking me.